Hi guys, welcome back. So let's have a look at World Rugby rankings. We'll look at the real rankings, but I really want to do a revised version of what I think the actual order is if they were to play right now, based on what we saw at the end of the year in these end of year internationals, autumn internationals, whatever you want to call them. So not taking in the Six Nations or the Rugby Championship or the Lion Series right now with the players they've got, no excuses. What would it be? And I'd love you guys to do the same exercise at home, because it's good fun, it's very subjective. I've taken a long time to think about these, but you're always second guessing each other. But I think I've got a list I'm fairly happy with. So let's have a look who I think is number one. On the real list, it's South Africa. And on my revised list, it is South Africa as well. They've got loads of grind. They've got an amazing power game. And, they haven't been perfect in this end of year series, but they've still got the best power game in the world, and they can be absolutely unstoppable at times. Sure, they lost the last one to England, but they could easily have won it and been 3 from 3. They've been very consistent, but that's not what I'm talking about. Right now, I still think South Africa are the scariest team in the world, and they retain that number one ranking for me. Now, number 2, we have New Zealand on the real list, and for me, I think France make it. So they actually move up 3 places on my list. They're neck and neck with the third place team, which I'll come to in a minute, but I think they're just a bit of extra power, and their halfback combo of Dupont and Intermac just edges it into number 2, and the way they destroyed New Zealand with passion, power, and a bit of genius is really compelling, so they're in at number 2. Now, hot on their heels, and it could easily have been round the other way, is Ireland, up a place in my list. A truly spectacular display of total rugby from these guys, to be honest. Irresistible form. They swept aside New Zealand, dominating every area of the match, even though the scoreboard was a little bit closer than that. And the forwards just look so comfortable on the ball. It's been a real revelation. Right now, if you were to play them, you'd be in a lot of trouble. So they're number 3 on my list. Number 4 would have been Ireland on the real list. I've got England just dropping a place. Now, I don't think they're quite in that third rank, but 3 wins from 3, loads of exciting tries from a new-look attack, new-look players, led by Marcus Smith. I still think they need some work, particularly in their set piece, but they're getting there, so they are just dropping a place to 4th. In 5th, which was France, I have New Zealand. So down 3 places, so quite a big drop on my list. They looked overplayed and they got taken apart by 2 exceptional teams in Ireland and also in France. But they didn't graft really in any of those games. But when they did graft in the Wales game to start with, they looked amazing, and they really have amazing skills, and they still can score fantastic tries, although they're a little bit off at the moment, missing a few players. But if they were to play right now, I'd probably have them in at number 5. Okay. In at number 6 was Australia. I've got Scotland in at number 6, and it's very difficult. The 6, 7 and 8 spots, very close, but just squeaking Scotland here because they got those victories over Australia and Japan, so I think that nicks it for them. They're full of excitement, ambitious, but their flow wasn't quite there. They couldn't string those consistent phases together, but when they do click, they are very, very good. Their set piece was looking good until South Africa got hold of them. But anyway, I'm having them in at number 6, upper spot on my list. At number 7, I have Wales. Now, initially, yes, they got taken apart by New Zealand, but then they grafted incredibly hard after that close loss against South Africa, ground out the wins against Fiji and Australia. I'm sure they had to play against 14 men, but that is not their problem at all. So they get those wins. Never really hit their straps, but at times their attack did look good. They've got a lot of work to do. Right now, I'd have them in at 7th. That leaves Australia in at 8th, dropping a couple of spots on my list. 3 from 3, losses that is, so not great. Too many mistakes. They did show some good form earlier in the year, but finished the year off a little bit tired, not the greatest. I'd have them in at 8th. Then rounding off the last 2 places, I've actually got non-movers here with Argentina at 9th. They're still a decent side, but they did look very tired and particularly uninspired. I know they had issues going on, but that's not the point. As it is right now, I'd have them at 9th. Got absolutely smashed by Ireland in the end, and Ireland showed everything that Argentina probably need to be next year. And then rounding it out, we have Japan. Still incredibly skillful. Quick phase attack is impressive, but the opposition now can practice to try and defend against that, which does reduce that effectiveness, and they don't have that big power game, set piece game to go back to if they're not getting through their quick attack. So they're still very capable, but still down at 10th. And an honourable mention, Fiji, I think, probably would be in the top 10 if they had more training time together, because their big Achilles heel was their set piece, was their organisation, but individually look incredibly scary. So anyway, guys, that is my revised top 10 to end out the year. Pop down your top 10s, and I will catch you next time.